Opening the episode, the story of Divinity Unveiled, Episode 2 Brother's Keeper unfolds with a gentle yet poignant introduction. The screen comes alive with a smooth series title animation, displaying the bold words Divinity Unveiled, while elegant text reads Episode 2 Brother's Keeper. In these early moments, the narrator invites us to journey back in time, recalling the bittersweet memory of Adam and Eve's exile from the bliss of Eden. The imagery reveals their sorrowful expressions as they glance back toward a lost paradise, a reminder of what once was. This evocative flashback gently sets the tone for the episode, blending nostalgic regret with subtle hints of impending trials and revelations. The scene is painted with both light and shadow, symbolizing the dual nature of human destiny and divine mystery in a world forever changed. Thus, the sequence prepares our hearts for a journey of myth and deep truth. Emerging from the shadows of Paradise Lost, the scene shifts to a modest dwelling set just beyond the borders of Eden. Dawn casts a gentle light over the simple home where Adam and Eve, now separated from the splendor of their original abode, strive to build a new life in a harsher world. The fertile abundance of Eden has given way to a landscape that demands hard labor, where each seed must be coaxed from the reluctant earth. In this setting, every ray of sunlight and each dewdrop on the soil tells a story of struggle and resilience. Within this humble beginning, humanity takes its first tentative steps forward. The narrator paints a vivid image of the moment when Cain is born, a spark of hope emerging amid sorrow. As Eve tenderly cradles the newborn, her eyes brim with a mixture of joy and steadfast trust in divine guidance. She names him Cain, declaring silently that his arrival is a beacon in a life touched by loss. Soon after, Abel enters the narrative as a child whose gentle spirit contrasts with his brother's determined disposition. Their early hours together are filled with playful innocence beneath the soft glow of the afternoon sun. The rustic surroundings pulse with the reality of post-Eden existence, where hope is nurtured even as the land demands sacrifice. Adam's weathered hands and unwavering resolve echo the promise of renewal, while Eve's quiet strength underpins each day's struggle. Together, in this fragile new world, every birth is a hopeful step toward redemption and a future where divine favor may one day return. Years pass, and the world outside the modest dwelling grows familiar with the rhythms of hard work and quiet worship. In this evolving landscape, Cain takes to the field with steadfast determination. Each morning, under the rising sun, he labors with unyielding focus, turning over the soil as if coaxing secrets from the reluctant earth. The field becomes his canvas, where sweat and effort blend to evoke the fruit of nature that he offers to the divine. Cain's daily toil is detailed in every furrow and each careful harvest, and his heart beats in time with the eldest rhythms of creation. Meanwhile, Abel finds his place in the gentle, rolling pastures that stretch under a vast blue sky. Tending to his flock, Abel moves softly among the green meadows, ensuring that each sheep is well cared for and protected from harm. His approach to life is marked by a tender reverence for all living things, and his methodical care reflects an inner devotion that goes beyond mere survival. Abel selects the choicest of his flock, the firstborn lamb with a gentle demeanor, and prepares an offering that resonates with a purity and grace that seems to light the heavens. As time weaves its tapestry over the brothers' lives, both make ready their respective offerings. For Cain, the offering emerges as carefully arranged produce laid upon a stone altar, the vibrant colors of the harvest standing in contrast to the muted tones of his somber expressions. In a quiet rhythm of habit, he gathers the fruits of the earth, grains, fruits, and vegetables, blending them into an offering that he hopes will speak to the Lord through earnest labor. Their efforts illustrate the divergent paths destiny has set for brothers. Abel, whose offering is marked by a unique beauty, prepares fat portions from the firstborn of his flock. In a serene ritual under the open sky, he arranges the best of his livestock upon an altar. As the offering is set ablaze by a purifying fire, the rising smoke merges with the heavens, lighting Abel's face with a soft, ethereal glow. This radiance speaks of gratitude and devotion, a silent message of divine favor acknowledging Abel's pure spirit. In contrast, the smoke from Cain's offering drifts sideways, failing to rise upward. This subtle detail mirrors the shadow growing within Cain's heart, hinting at deep discord and inner turmoil that will soon overwhelm him. Moments after the brothers prepare their offerings, a profound stillness falls over the land. In this charged silence, the narrative shifts to a divine presence that approaches Cain in a mysterious, luminous form. The air around him shimmers with an otherworldly light, as if the heavens themselves have come to speak. In this silent confrontation, the divine voice, carried on the soft yet insistent breeze, asks Cain why his heart is filled with anger and why his countenance is shadowed by doubt. The message resonates deeply, revealing that if Cain chooses the righteous path, he may find acceptance and favor. However, the warning is clear. If he does not walk the straight road, sin, ever patient and lurking, is poised at his door, eager to claim him. As the divine presence lingers, the scene is imbued with symbolic images. A shadowy figure, reminiscent of a silent predator waiting in ambush, hovers near a threshold, its gleaming eyes reflecting the latent danger. The divine warning is not simply a rebuke, but also an invitation to choose a better path, a chance to master the dark impulses that threaten to consume him. In this moment of clarity, with the heavenly light contrasting sharply against the inner turmoil, Cain stands at a crossroad. The divine admonition serves as both a cautionary beacon and a somber prelude to the tragic events that are to follow, embedding within him the seeds of conflict and the foreshadowing of a sorrowful destiny. A final echo of fate resounds profoundly. As the divine warning fades into an uneasy silence, Cain's inner conflict reaches a boiling point. In the fading light of the wheat field, Cain, burdened by a swelling storm of anger and jealousy, suggests a walk to his brother Abel. Under a sky streaked with the hues of twilight, the two brothers set out together, their shadows stretching long across the ripening fields of grain. The peaceful atmosphere masks the turbulent emotions that churn within Cain, whose eyes darken with an intensity that belies the quiet of the countryside. In that vast open field, the stage for an unspeakable act is set. The narrator recounts with somber clarity how, in a moment of reckless impulse, Cain overwhelms Abel. The struggle, marked only by fleeting movements and the subtle shift of light and shadow, unfolds in a way that leaves little to the eye, yet speaks volumes in its outcome. The sound of a stone striking is captured in the memory as a single sudden note, a moment where time itself seems to pause. A solitary drop of blood falls onto the fertile earth, its descent slow and poignant, as if the ground mourns the loss of innocence. The aftermath of the violent act is steeped in a heavy silence. Cain, his face shifting from rage to profound horror, realizes the irreversible nature of his deed. With trembling hands and a hastened pace, he buries Abel's lifeless body, as if attempting to hide his guilt beneath the soil. In those moments, the landscape becomes a silent witness to the tragic rupture of brotherly love. The field, bathed in the glow of a setting sun, holds the indelible mark of sorrow, a mark that will echo throughout the annals of human history. The horror of that deed lingers in the quiet rustle of wind through the stalks, a reminder of a moment when humanity strayed into darkness, setting a course toward a fate steeped in regret and eternal consequence. In the dying light, the field silently bears witness to the irreversible choice that fractures brotherhood forever. This act forever seeds sorrow in history. Following the grim events in the field, a heavy silence envelops the land as Cain is confronted by a luminous, commanding presence. The divine light returns, more intense now, as if determined to illuminate the dark corners of Cain's troubled soul. In this pivotal moment, the narrator details how the divine voice, imbued with both authority and sorrow, inquires about the well-being of Abel. The question, posed not with anger, but with a calm, measured reproach, challenges Cain to account for the life that was lost. The words echo as a timeless reminder that each life is worthy of care, a subtle admonition that no act of violence goes unnoticed. Cain's response, delivered in a tone marked by defiant ambiguity, is captured in the narrative as an evasive claim of ignorance. Yet the silence that follows is filled with the unspoken admission of guilt and the heavy burden of responsibility for a fraternal bond broken by violence. As the divine presence intensifies, the ground itself seems to weep, bearing the weight of spilled blood and sorrow. In these final moments of confrontation, every element of the scene, the bright celestial glow, the soft rustle of leaves, even the whisper of the wind, comes together to testify to the sacred yet sorrowful ceremony of judgment. The narrator's account frames this intense exchange as not merely a questioning of words, but as an affirmation of a moral order that demands accountability. Firm and unyielding, the divine message declares that the blood of Abel has cried out from the earth, becoming a silent witness to the tragic act. In this charged interaction between human fallibility and divine justice, the paths of mortal failings and eternal consequences converge, marking the moment when silence speaks louder than any words could ever express. A final echo of fate resounds profoundly. Every heartbeat of nature bears witness to this solemn interplay of justice and sorrow, echoing through eternity evermore. After the intense confrontation, the divine light returns to Cain with a heavy decree. With a sorrowful tone, the heavenly voice pronounces the judgment. Cain's crime has irreversibly altered his fate. The land itself is cursed, so that from this day forward, the soil, once bountiful, would never yield its blessings to him. Cain's punishment is profound. He is condemned to become a restless wanderer, forever estranged from the familiar comforts of home. In a moment filled with both despair and reluctant mercy, the divine presence places a mysterious mark upon Cain's forehead. This mark, both a symbol of divine curse and a shield against vengeance, is bestowed to protect him from those who might seek to end his life. The mark is a dual reminder of transgression and of a peculiar kind of divine mercy. Though it brands him as a sinner, it also serves to spare him from retaliatory violence that would otherwise follow. In the quiet aftermath, Cain departs from the presence of the Lord, beginning his exile on a lonely path that extends beyond the familiar lands of his youth. Each step he takes echoes with regret and the haunting memory of a love lost through betrayal. In the wake of his exile, Cain embarks on a journey that leads him to the foundations of early civilization. With determined resolve, he establishes the first city, naming it after his son Enoch. This city becomes a cradle of cultural development, where its inhabitants learn to dwell in tents, raise livestock, and cultivate artistic skills. Over time, the narrative reveals that from Cain's lineage emerged skilled musicians playing the harp and flute, and master craftsmen who forged early tools in bronze and iron. Yet even as creativity blossoms, the shadow of Cain's transgression lingers. Among his descendants appears Lamech, a figure whose pride and violent ways foreshadow further strife. The unfolding lineage of Cain offers both a testament to human ingenuity and a somber reminder of the lingering consequence of divine disfavor. Thus, his legacy reflects a complex blend of creative triumphs and lasting divine reproach in stark relief. Amid the fallout of strife and sorrow, a new branch of the family begins to take shape. Adam finds solace in love once more, and soon, Eve gives birth to a son named Seth. His arrival is celebrated as a divine gesture, symbolizing not merely a replacement for the lost Abel, but also a fresh start for humankind. Seth's birth brings with it the promise of renewal and hope, igniting a spiritual resurgence among his kin. As Seth grows, he lays the groundwork for a future in which people begin to seek and call upon the name of the Lord. His life embodies the soft voice of resurgence, a beacon of gentle optimism that guides the family away from the shadows of their tragic past and towards a destiny filled with the light of divine favor. Thus, a new era begins, promising healing and renewed purpose with steadfast, gentle grace. In a reflective closing, the narrative offers a deep meditation on the dual paths born from the first family. On one hand, the descendants of Cain weave a tapestry of early human achievement, marked by imaginative leaps in art, music, and technology, yet shadowed by the stain of violence. On the other, the line of Seth grows in quiet devotion, as people begin to call upon the name of the Lord in earnest prayer. This juxtaposition of human creativity and the striving for divine connection creates a story that is both inspiring and solemn. In these final moments, the narrator's voice gently recalls that the choices of the first family continue to reverberate through time, influencing every culture and generation, and reminding all that redemption and consequence are forever intertwined in the human journey. May this reflection inspire us to embrace our creative spirit and our capacity for change. Looking ahead, the narrative offers a tantalizing glimpse into the next chapter of this ancient saga. The approaching episode, aptly titled Cleansing Waters, promises to explore an era when darkness overwhelms the earth and divine judgment takes the form of a great unstoppable flood. As the storyline unfolds, the scene shifts to portray a world gripped by escalating wickedness and corruption, where the hearts of men have strayed far from the path of righteousness. In this tumultuous period, a singular figure emerges, Noah, who stands out as one who finds favor in the eyes of the Lord. His journey, marked by steadfast faith amidst growing moral decay, sets the stage for a dramatic tale of judgment and salvation. The preview is rendered with vivid brushstrokes of impending chaos and hope, inviting viewers to prepare for a transformative odyssey that bridges divine retribution and the promise of renewal.